All right, guys, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be the first one. The first one to long this downside on the market. I went for it today. I opened up some new swings. Let's go ahead and talk about it. I know a lot of you out there are looking at me a little bit funny, looking at me like I'm in too early, and you might be right. But I have a very clear technical reason as to why I want to long this pullback on the market, the stock that I want to do it with. There's plenty of opportunities out there. There's plenty of stocks you could long at some key levels, including the market today at 58.50 on the S&P 500 futures. Let me go ahead and flip this for you and show you. You guys can see right here, 58.50 today, 200 SMA on the ES. What a rip to end the day. Holy shit, what a rip. 58.50 ES, huge level. We talked about this in the live stream. Last night on X, I made a post. You guys should be following me here that we could see a relief bounce off this 58.50 on the S&P 500. That is also the daily 200 SMA. I posted this last night around 7 p.m. and today we did exactly that. So into end of day, I went ahead and I took some call options on an individual equity. I'm going to go ahead and break down that setup for you guys. We've had an absolute monster week, $200,000 in the week playing the downside. I'm going to be okay putting a little bit of this house money into some longs on a big pullback. And like CH said in the chat today, if this is an opportunity that I'm not willing to take, I might as well pack it up, take all of the money out of my account, buy some treasury bonds, and call it a day. I'm taking this shot. Let me go ahead and break down what I see on the market right now. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and make this one real quick. It is Friday, 4 p.m. I'm not interested in staying here very long, but it's sort of an impromptu video where I did take a position. The market's sort of giving you some signs, and I want to go ahead and give you an update into what I see here on the overall market and on this swing trade that I entered today. Guys, this is a very early trade, okay? You want to come at me about being wrong here, you guys are miserable. This is a very interesting opportunity. I think it's worth taking a shot. I have a lot of house money this week, and I want to go ahead and take this. It could be something very lucrative. I figured I'd share it with you boys. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you do some of your own due diligence. Let's go ahead and break this down, man. This is a very interesting opportunity. Let's first talk about the S&P 500 futures. So, coming into this morning and yesterday, I posted this on X talking about 58.50 and the 200 SMA on the ES futures. And that level absolutely stout today. You guys can see here on the ES futures, we had that major 58.50 to 5800 demand. We had these lows, we had these lows, we had these previous highs, these highs, and guess what else we had? We had the daily 200 SMA. I'm longing off the daily 200 SMA. 100% of the time, I'm trying to find something. I'm not going to put my whole account in something, but I'm definitely taking a shot. Shooters gotta shoot. Especially when there's risk reward like there is right now. I had to take a shot. So you guys can see right here, we have that 58.50 and into end of day today, an absolutely monstrous short squeeze into close, pushing straight up towards 59.60, almost 100 points to the upside into the end of day on the S&P 500 futures. Now, there are still levels that need to break to make sure that this is fully an upside move, right? We are definitely not out of the weeds in terms of where this can go, right? We are not out of the weeds in terms of this being fully bullish, and I would be putting large size into long positions. That is 100% not where we are. However, there is risk reward, right? There is risk reward. There is a potential reward for being early. There is. And sometimes you have to be able to take those shots when it makes sense in terms of calculated risk. And so today, I thought that this reclaim right here over that 59.30 was very key. We're back above that Tuesday low, back above that Thursday low. Now, the level that I'm still concerned about to really think that this is going to continue higher is really right here. 60.25. That is Thursday's highs. That is Wednesday's highs. That is this Tuesday high right here. And guess what? That is also the 150 SMA. So are we going to get a pop here and maybe reject into next week? Yes, that is 100% possible. And that is really the level that I need to break before I can truly say that there is a long opportunity here with true confirmation. So I am willing to take the idea and take the risk off the daily 200 SMA on the ES futures, that being a potential very large long opportunity. I'm also interested to see if pullbacks get bought up next week into 59.30. That is a risk-reward opportunity I'm willing to take off those lows. Now, of course, there's a lot more to see before we can truly think that this is going to continue higher. And that would be, like I said, the 60.25 level and the 100 SMA. But if we zoom out on this 4-hour, right, we can see we reclaim that 59.30, and we closed above that today. If we can turn that into a new low next week, we might have just seen a short-term tradable bottom at that 200 SMA, and that is a risk I am willing to take. If we go over to the NASDAQ futures, we can also see we reclaim that 200 SMA. And on the QQQ, let me go ahead and show you this on the QQQ. If we go to the QQQ, you guys can see right here that we perfectly held that 500 spot on the QQQ. Right here, you can see on the daily, on the Qs, we have key 500 lows, key 500 lows. That is an interesting risk reward, again, that I think lines up with that ES 5850, 5800. So, interesting stuff. A lot of things lining up. Maybe some bulls starting to come in. Maybe some early bulls that are going to get smacked, and maybe I'll be one of those. But the stock that I went ahead and long today, guys, is Tesla. Let me go ahead and show you why. So over the last pretty much few weeks, I have been sitting here waiting for Tesla to come back down towards this 275 level. So on this Tesla weekly, we have some major previous highs around this 275 level and a major previous high right here and rejection from back in July of last year. So 275, 280 area was a very difficult area for Tesla to get over. Every time it came up to it, it rejected very heavily on the weekly chart. Now, as it was rejecting over here, you guys can see that we were holding a general uptrend. Uptrend, uptrend, uptrend. So we have that uptrend, and we have that retest level, and guess what? We have hit that. We have hit the intersection between the retest 275 level and the weekly uptrend just today. And that is also, on top of that, if we pull a Fibonacci retracement from the weekly lows to the weekly highs, that just happens to be the exact 61.8% retracement. On top of that, if we go to the daily chart here, that also lines up with, you guessed it, the daily 200 SMA. So right here on Tesla, my friends, we have the daily 200 SMA. We have the 61.8% retracement on the weekly chart. We have a weekly break and retest, and we have a weekly uptrend. All four of those reasons on Tesla, combined with the fact that the S&P 500 futures just ripped off that 200 SMA, gives me enough confidence to front run a Tesla long position. Now, if we break this down to the short term, the other thing that I did like about it today is you can see we had this very clear downtrend on Tesla over the last 3 trading days that we broke above, retested, held right here, and closed strong into end of day. So we went ahead and broke the short-term downtrend right here today on Tesla. You can see we closed above that, held above that, and pushed higher. Now, on the short term, what do we need to see Tesla actually continue higher? Well, it is right here, guys. In my opinion, it's right between this 298 to 300 area. I believe we are going to need to see Tesla reclaim this Tuesday low, this Thursday high. Until it gets above that level, we are still definitely in a question mark about whether this is going to continue higher. So is my entry early? Absolutely. Is my entry based off this 200 SMA, and does it have proper risk reward? Yes, right? My stop loss is a break back under that 200, probably a break back under that 275. So I'm trying to get in as close as I can down to that key demand. I do understand that I could be front running this and we could see a pretty nasty rejection off 300, 298 next week. And that is something that I am willing to accept. So let's see what happens here. Tesla 298, 300. That's going to be the key breakout. If we can break that, I think you navigate to 310. And I think you can navigate pretty quickly back towards this 325 as well. We're going to need to break and hold back above 300. The more structured trade here would be a break and retest above 300. But I'm willing to go ahead and think about risk reward back down at the 200 SMA. Once again, with the ES holding that 200 SMA today on the daily chart. If we go back out, you guys can see right here. Isn't that an interesting chart on the S&P 500 futures after absolute panic over the last week? Could this be an interesting weekly low, a weekly wick closing today? Could this just be the buying opportunity that we were all waiting for just about a week ago when we were sitting at all-time highs? Could this be the time where no one wants to long now after a pullback, even though up here at the highs, they were waiting for a pullback? It's funny how that works. Let's see. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, have a fantastic weekend. That's my little flyer for you this weekend. We'll see if it's something I get roasted about next week, or we'll see if it's something that handsomely pays me. Either way, fantastic week, guys, on the markets. You can check my X, you can check my Instagram for my results of this week and of this month so far. Go check me out on kinfo.com. That is where verified trades are posted. You cannot fake kinfo.com. You can check me out there as well. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next week. Peace out.